Hey guys, this is KJOS and this right here is the Redmi Note 9S or the Redmi Note 9 Pro in some certain countries. This is going to be my first time reviewing a mid-range device or a budget device, so let's just call this Budget Smartphone Mondays. Is this going to be a thing? I don't know, maybe. Anyway, this phone came with a lot of hype. It came with so much hype, they are calling this phone the best budget smartphone on the market currently. So in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the pros and cons of this phone and see if it lives up to the hype itself. So let's get this party started. Now, right before we get into the video, if you're new here, thank you for stopping by and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers and it'd be great if I can get there in great time. Also, you can hit the bell so you can get notified when I drop videos like this every week. Also, you can please support my YouTube journey by checking out my Patreon account in the description below. I drop early access to videos and I drop behind the scenes videos to my videos you're currently watching. So please check that out in the description below. And now that's out of the way, let's get into the video. First thing I noticed about the phone is the size of it. Now, if you've been following me on social media and YouTube for a while, you already know huge displays aren't really my thing to use for a very long period of time. Nevertheless, the height is great for people that love tall displays. The frame of the phone overall is plastic with a matte finish that adds a bit of grip to the phone. The Redmi Note 9S or the Redmi Note 9 Pro gets it right by putting all buttons on one side of the phone to create a nice seamless experience. This, by the way, is a huge fingerprint magnet, so you're going to find yourself rubbing this phone on your shirt every single time or looking for a cloth to clean the back as it attracts fingerprints every time you touch the phone. But speaking of which, it comes with an inbuilt screen guard on the phone itself, so you don't have to worry about that. And it also comes with a nice rubber case that you can put on the phone itself. So that's great value for money than other flagship smartphones that are out there. The Redmi Note 9 Pro has a 6.6 LCD display with a 1080p resolution, and this is protected by Gorilla Glass 5 with the now popular hole punch cutout in the middle. No under-display fingerprint scanner due to the LCD panel, so we have to settle for the fingerprint scanner on the right side of the phone, which I'm not really the greatest fan of. I mean, it's convenient sometimes, but I mistake it for the volume buttons a lot, and it isn't as fast as I want it to be. Brightness is great, and it translates very well when you're outside with 420 nits at maximum brightness. Also, if you're looking for 90 Hz on this phone, I'm sorry to break it to you, but this phone does not have it, which is so weird because the competitors Realme with the Realme 6 Pro has 90 Hz on their phone and it's literally the same price point. I wonder why they didn't just add it here, but I guess they have their reasons. More reasons to get this phone apart from the price point is the nice little headphone jack that is still alive and kicking even though a lot of flagships have done away with it. It has a speaker grill right beside it, which is just okay. It's not the best speaker and it's not the worst at the same time. When using this for the last couple of days, I missed the stereo speakers that I have grown accustomed to. For a phone that costs $220, the specs on this phone are quite important as people want to know that the money they're spending is going to give them great value. And that being said, the Redmi Note 9S or the Redmi Note 9 Pro has the Snapdragon 720G, which enhances the gaming experience on the phone. It has 4 gigs of RAM and it has 64 gig and 128 gig of internal storage and has expandable memory up to 512 gigs itself. The battery life on the Redmi Note 9 Pro is a huge 5,020 mAh of battery. In comparison, the battery here is the same as the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. Now, with more than 5,000 mAh of battery, this phone right here is a beast itself. It gets about 7 to 8 hours of screen on time, and that's when I'm heavy using everything. So from playing games to social media to high brightness, and you know how I use my phone. I can probably even get more if I'm having a very average day. Now, another great thing about the phone that it comes with a 22-watt charger in the box, and that charges your phone from about 0 to 37% in an hour. I mean, the battery is huge, so it's going to take a while before your phone should charge itself. Of course, the battery life is dependent on the type of operating system each phone is running, and that is a nice segue to the operating system on this phone currently. The Redmi Note 9 Pro has Android 10 and also slaps the MIUI 11 skin on the phone itself, and it's not looking too good. So, this is my least favorite part of the entire phone itself, and it's something I have seen a lot of tech reviewers talk about. A lot of companies make great hardware, but the software always comes up short. Software and user interface is one of the most important things about a smartphone because if a consumer doesn't like it, he most likely won't buy it. Luckily with Android, you can always get a launcher to cover up the phone's average software. Apart from MIUI 11 being a bit cartoonish and not at all premium, it was the gesture navigation that made my experience a bit hard. So I'm coming from Samsung Pixel and the iPhone standpoint, the MIUI doesn't give much help when it comes to gesture navigations. The closest thing to gesture navigations like on the Pixel or the Samsung is a feature called Quick Ball. Now it's on the corner of the screen like a floating notification. Now, does anybody remember that? Anyway, it gives the choice to choose between a few quick options like screenshots, back gestures, and whatnot. Now, it's not as smooth, and I do not recommend anybody to use it because it just doesn't get it right and interrupts your everyday use. Like I said, you have to get a launcher like Nova Launcher to customize your phone the way you want it to be. Now moving on to the camera, with a lot of mid-range smartphones, they sacrifice a lot to get to that price point that is cheap enough for everybody to afford. So they sacrifice the LCD panel, they sacrifice the Snapdragon performance, they also sacrifice on the camera itself. Now with the Redmi Note 9, there's not much of an exception. Now, it's not a bad camera, it's not just great either. The main camera turns out photos with 12 megapixel resolution, and in daylight, these come out good. There's low noise, great contrast, and mostly true to life colors. Dynamic range is pretty wide, so the result is it's just okay. There's a standalone 48 megapixel mode, but these seem to be upscaled from the 12 megapixel images and then sharpened, so I don't think there are any benefits from shooting this way. As far as I can see, portraits are taken with the main camera together with the depth sensor. This requires a lot of light, but if you have good conditions, they come out pretty nice. They are detailed with decent subject separation, and since there's no telephoto camera, the 2x toggle on the viewfinder will just give you a digital zoom photo which lacks a lot of detail. The 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera can be very good. It can take great photos for its class. It has great detail, great contrast, and wide dynamic range. Selfies are taken with a 60 megapixel front-facing camera, and these are pretty good and decent with the dynamic range, nice colors, and contrast. They aren't the sharpest around them though. You can shoot video at 4K at 30 frames per second with the main camera. These 4K videos have great color and contrast and dynamic range, and there's almost no noise. The detail level is average though, and also you can shoot only ultra-wide camera in 1080p resolution. The Redmi Note 9 Pro is a great value for money phone to have. It has a great battery life, the body is pretty good, and it has an okay camera that won't let you down on most days, and an operating system that needs to be worked on because user interaction is very, very important. In that time, you can slap on Nova Launcher or any other launcher of your choice, and this becomes a must-have mid-range phone at the price of $220. So those are my thoughts on the Redmi Note 9 Pro. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's worth getting? Do you think you're going to get one? Now comment below and let me know. And if you like this video, clicking that like button right down there is the best way to help me out. And if you're new here, you should please consider subscribing to the channel as I release videos like this every week. And the best time to see them is through a subscription. Thank you for watching. My name is KJOS, and I'll catch you guys on the next one where we talk all things tech.